Welcome to episode 103 of the Guardian 1 podcast. We record live Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by Jez.
Good morning.
Agrios.
Greetings!
Sharks.
Where's my thorn?
And Gray.
Good evening, everyone.
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
Hello, Guardians. Thank you for listening in on the podcast, however it is that you are choosing to listen. Be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter, at G1Net. That's G, the number 1, N-E-T. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to feedback@guardian1.net. If you do a search on Bungie.net for Guardian 1, you'll find our forums group, which we also use for both comments and feedback. Big thank you to all those currently in the Twitch chat. As Remy said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can always search for the Guardian 1 podcast on iTunes, as well as the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1Network. Guardian 1 is a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the different podcasts as part of the network, including the flagship podcast, Guardian Radio. They broadcast every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. You can also follow their Twitter account at GuardiansofD and their YouTube channel, youtube.com/GuardiansofD. Other podcasts that are part of the Guardian Radio Network include previous episodes of TTL Party Chat and Robust Radio. There's also a podcast called Ghost and Echoes, which contains a bit of fan fiction and audio versions of the Grimoire cards found within Destiny. That's it for housekeeping. I'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much, Hollow River. Okay, first of all, shout out to Seerprophet, our newest Guardian 1 member. Longtime listeners will recognize Seerprophet as someone whose opinion I've used on the show many times as kind of a watermark against, someone who really wants to play Destiny, but doesn't have the incentive. The incentive isn't there many times, and so he will write to me and he will tell me, what he's thinking about certain things, and I really appreciate his point of view. I really enjoy reading his letters on the air and discussing it, because it's a point of view that's very similar to mine, except for I am like totally in love with Destiny. River posted an article just a couple days ago, and it was basically talking about all the missteps that Destiny has had. And as I'm reading this, I'm thinking to myself, this is all from the viewpoint of somebody who doesn't necessarily want to love Destiny. I want to love Destiny, but I'm willing to accept that there have been shortcomings. But really, the bottom line for me is that the shortcomings have been all related to the hype leading up to the game. If I never heard a single thing about Destiny and I walked into it, I would be totally impressed. Even vanilla Destiny, I would have been so impressed. The whole game was amazing from the get-go. Like, as a game, the whole game was amazing. But as this, solar system treading game, like, there was so much that Destiny could have been, partially stuff that I filled in the blanks for, and partially stuff that Bungie said themselves. So really, to me, the biggest misstep was all of the hype. They just let the hype go. I don't feel like they tried to rein it in. And so that's for me the biggest problem with Destiny. But Seerprophet had this. He had this ability to just stay away if he wasn't interested in it, and I really love hearing from people who want to love Destiny but don't let themselves. I think it's a very valuable point of view. So shout out to you, Seerprophet. Thank you for joining our ranks. Additionally, that's what I was going to say. I would like to give a very sincere apology to my clanmate and also permanent panelist on this show, Agrios. Agrios, I'm so sorry that last week we did not get to any news whatsoever. I know that you spend a lot of time digging up all these, interesting tips and tricks and then putting it all into a palatable form. I'm very, very sorry that I just use this podcast as like my personal sounding board. I just talk and talk and talk, and then 2 hours is up and all of that work that you did is just flushed, unless some of it we can use in the next week. But I was really excited last week. There's a lot of stuff going on. We had Rude Onion on the show last week, very cool Destiny lore content creator, and we're going to have Rude Onion on the show next week. So I'm very excited about that announcements. But yeah, Agrios, very sorry that I'm just rude.
Excellent conversations took the place of it.
So yeah, I wanted to throw that out there just so everyone knows I'm very rude. I'm very rude to Agrios. And I apologize.
I wouldn't go that far.
I wanted to discuss clans for a moment. I started this clan. I started Guardian 1 in December of 2013, and I've watched it grow, and I've watched people come, and I've watched people go, and it's been a learning experience because this is my third group that I've founded throughout my gaming history. My first group was called the Frontline Assembly in a video game called Anarchy Online, and we had 45 people, and it was awesome. Like, I felt like the king of the world. But at that point in my life, I was able to lead by always being on. I was always on. I was always playing, and I could lead from the front. And when I started Guardian 1, I wanted it to be something that grew on its own. Even as scary as that is, it's scary to watch something that you love, that you've nurtured from nothing, grow into something that is out of your control. And the group at this point is largely out of my control. If I died right now, there are systems in place that it would just keep going. I mean, if that's what people wanted, it would just keep going. There's not even, I'm a figurehead at best.
Uh-oh.
I thought that was just me.
Nobody heard Remy, right? That wasn't just that was Remy, right?
You froze, Remy.
Uh-oh. It says not responding. Do you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, now we do.
I think it's about to update on me, because right now is the perfect time.
It's Thursday. Yeah.
Right. So it's difficult to watch something like this grow out of your control, but it's what needs to happen. It needs to be something that, even if I'm not around, it replicates systems, and it just works itself out. And I want to say that this week we had one member who really felt like they were being ignored. And it was hard to read, and I wasn't certain what to say right away. But in the time that it took me to figure out what to say, many other members stepped up and put systems into place that really helped out the group immensely. Like, we now have in Twitter, like, LFG chat, specifically for if you're interested in helping other people. Oftentimes I'll come back to the chat after only an hour of being away from it, and there will be over 100 comments. And as much as I try to go through and read all of them, it's really impossible to make sure that I see everything. And also, if somebody posts that they need help with something, if I'm unable, I feel like it's just working to bury it if I say, well, I can't do it. And so I don't comment on things that I can't do. But I was really, really pleased to see that as I was just watching it, people took the initiative and they made it a better place. They've made Guardian 1 and the way we communicate a much smoother and streamlined process. And it was really, it made my heart very happy to see that people cared. Like this person, one member brought up a concern, and many other members stepped up and made it happen. They righted the wrong, and we're moving forward with that. And it had nothing to do with me. I just sat there and watched. So it was really awesome. But I want to say to anyone out there, in this group or any other group, being in a clan is what you make of it. It's as much as it's awesome that there was a new system put into place, and as much as it's awesome to have other people to help, being in a clan is what you make of it. It gives you back what you put in. Maybe not evenly all the time, but that's the way it works. So if you are feeling that you are being ignored, speak up. Maybe you're not being ignored on purpose. I know that I'm ignored all the time in the chat. Always shut down, and so I don't take it personally. No, if no one's available to help, then no one's available to help. It's not a big deal, but it's important to speak up, and it's important to try and get what you want out of it. And if you're not getting what you want out of it, if you speak up and nobody addresses your concerns, then maybe it is time to move on. Maybe this is not the group for you. So I just wanted to say that I really appreciate everyone who moved in on that specific problem and made those things happen, because it just makes me feel really good. It just makes me feel really good to have seen that happen in real time, and knowing that specific problem will not crop up again in that specific manifestation. So, Guardian 1, you kick ass. Let's see. That's really all I had to say to begin with. I would like to now throw it to Agrios. He's working on some limited time. As you can see in the lower left-hand corner of our screen, if you're watching the video, there is a pretty massive weather front heading his way. And so let's get through some news before he gets swept away. Agrios, what do you got for us?
All right. Well, you know what? Let's start with current events, because I'm sure everybody has important things to say about this, and let's talk about this while this is relative, before we go into other topics that we can discuss. But Iron Banner. I mean, Iron Banana this week. Supremacy, first time ever. I mean, a lot of people getting into Supremacy maybe for the first time ever. Lots of new weapons dropping. Lots of people shooting up late levels. What do you guys think? Iron Banner this time. They brought us gauntlets and shotguns and auto rifles and class items available for purchase, but anything and everything is dropping from the banner itself. So we're getting a good look at.
Not so much that. You can only get auto rifles and shotguns and ghosts. No, you can't get them for drops. You get them for your turn-ins.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Right. But I mean, that's what I mean. They're still dropping for people, whether it's through the bounties or the endgame rewards. We're getting a good look at the array of weapons coming from the Iron Banner.
Yeah, that's true.
So what do you think about this, Jez?
It's an interesting mode. That's for sure.
I feel like you're holding back on us.
I might be a little bit. I mean, this is a little weird, but I've got 2 characters to rank 5. So it's really fast to rank up. However, it also is Supremacy. And I hope you like charging, because that's what you're going to get on you. A whole bunch of charging.
Right, so my friend Pig Jockey, he was like, "Oh, how's Iron Banner?" And I was like, "Well, I hope you like eating shotguns for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because that's what's coming your way." And he's like, "Yeah, I love shotguns." Sharks, what do you make of this Iron Banner?
That's a very broad question. Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. It's new. It's refreshing. And it's frustrating all at the same time. As far as drops are going, you never really know how to judge drop rates, because drop rates always seem to change as the week goes, except for this Iron Banner. Drop rates have been equal each and every day, which is very, very refreshing to see. I've gotten really sick of playing old past Iron Banners where Monday is the day to go in and you get lots of drops. Tuesday you get nothing. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, but it's a downward spiral. And by the Monday, literally nothing is dropping. But so far, so good. Lots of drops. Everybody's getting drops. I actually stopped. Normally I do a tally on drop rates and all that stuff. It was just so high that it wasn't even worth doing the click. I mean, it was almost every other game I was getting drops, and everybody seems to be getting drops pretty much in your group too, whether you win or lose. The game mode itself, again, I come from Call of Duty, so I play Kill Confirmed. I know Maynard James in the chat, same way. Love that mode. It is a little bit different in Destiny because we do have supers, and it's kind of Supremacy has pushed Destiny into a very, very fast game. Not that it, at times we play a lot of slow games. Bungie wants to kind of keep it on an even keel, but because everybody's using shotguns, it's really, really tough to make those slow games. It is possible, though. It is possible because you're muted, Jazz, if you want to say something.
I was yelling at you. So also keep in mind that the red crests count as little orbs of light, so your super gets charged faster, so you're going to see a lot more Stormcallers and a lot more hammers and a lot more arc blades.
Thank you for that tip, Jazz.
Stormcaller City.
It is very much like playing Mayhem almost. It's kind of weird. I wish they didn't have that. I wish it was just the gunplay, and I really wish that Bungie would do something about secondary play. Maybe not get rid of the ammo, but do something with damage, because it is very, very much a shotgun game or a secondary game. You don't have to play shotgun. I still refuse. Well, I should say I try to refuse. It's very difficult when you have a bounty that if you want to complete it, the best way to get is secondary kills, because you get 2 for 1. So I bit the bullet and did some shotgunning, and then I went back to my snipers. But it's a very interesting mode, and it's very frustrating for people. The other thing that's very frustrating for people, and I was part of this group, Agrios will know, he was part of this group too. We had an almost entire G1 team yesterday, and we went in and lost a hell of a lot of games. And I was actually really glad that Bungie's servers went down, because I was literally about to leave the group, because all day long I was playing solo and I was winning all my games, and I got into a group expecting to mop up, but it doesn't always happen. Just because you have a group doesn't mean that everybody's going to play the way you need to play in the match. So, and Maynard was part of that group too, and Maynard's kick-ass. So, but yeah, no, it's a very interesting mode. If you have not played it, I say go out there and give it a try. It is very fun, and you're going to get lots and lots of rewards and kick up your light level, and maybe you'll catch up to me.
Also, be smart and grab your Shaxx bounty.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
grab your
yeah.
Shaxx.
Yeah.
So you bring up a couple good points, Sharks. I have to say that. Okay, well, why don't we go to Gray? Gray, what do you think about Supremacy and Iron Banner overall?
I've been enjoying it. It's tested my patience a little bit. I tried to fight the meta for a very long time and try out the new weapons, and it's a good testing ground. But I consistently was seeing my end game point totals between 16 and 22, somewhere in that range. But played a lot of matches. I've got my Hunter up to rank 4, almost to rank 5. Then tonight, before going on the air for a couple hours. I decided to embrace the meta, go back to my first love, Universal Remote, Remy. You know that you love that weapon too. And I was it was a different game. I think so much of it is being able to get the kill and then capture that crest in one motion, as opposed to using like that new Iron Banner scout rifle, which I really enjoy. It takes me too long to get across the area to pick up that crest before either somebody's shooting me down and I have to play defensive, or somebody goes and picks up their crest as a defensive maneuver. Being able to just run and shotgun, my point totals, I maxed out at 51 tonight in one match. And again, it's just different play style, being able to kill, take the crest. And it's okay, but I don't think that I'd want to do it, as a long-standing, I'm going to play Supremacy a ton. It's a little bit too linear if you want to be good at it, at least as far as what I'm noticing right now.
And that is your final take on it?
Well, that's my take for 2 days of playing it aggressively.
Okay. I hate it. 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 Like I imagine them. I am like imagine all of the developers at Bungie, and then they, someone dims the regular lights and they turn up like these red lights, right? And then they all put on these little horns and they think to themselves, how can we possibly get more shotgunners into Destiny Crucible? And this is what they came up with, because the meta, in order to like you're saying, your scout rifle, it's difficult to cover that ground and grab that crest before somebody else takes it or they're shooting at you. And so they're forcing people, they're like filing people into shotguns. I've seen very, very, very little else. I've been killed by very, very, very little else. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. When I played Supremacy at PAX, it wasn't so bad, mostly because people didn't have their go-to. There wasn't a Matador 64. There wasn't a Party Crasher +1. People didn't have their go-to shotgun, so it was a lot funner of a game. And at this point, they've basically begged people to bring out their shotgun. Like, they've basically said, if you don't use your shotgun, you're not going to win these matches. And in my case, even if you do use your shotgun, you're not going to win these matches. I've lost so many more matches than I've ever lost in any Iron Banner. I don't understand why there is what seems to me to be absolutely zero repercussions for people who ditch out on teams that are losing. This is probably my number one problem with this. Like, I can get past shotguns, fine. I will learn to use them and have. I can get past. Actually, Supremacy is pretty fun by itself. Played in a group of people that don't all have maximum ranged shotguns. I haven't even seen one Universal Remote, if you want to be honest. I have not seen one. All I've seen are secondary. But there needs to be repercussions for people who quit. I don't care what it is. The best I can come up with is a cooldown for the amount of time that match is still going. You can't join another one, or if you do join one, it's that same match. And if you can't get back into that one because it's already been filled, then you just don't get to play Crucible until then. There has to be a repercussion. I can't use as many cuss words right now as it would take for me to really get to the heart, to really explain and convey my emotions about this, in order for you to know how badly I hate the people who quit out on games. It's the most frustrating thing ever. Especially like in the first minute, we're down by 10 crests, we're down by 20 crests, people quitting. This doesn't help the people who stay. This doesn't help the people like me. I got dropped into a game this afternoon that was 120 to 40. I got dropped in on the 40 side. Why should I stay? Why should any of those people stay? Why did any of those people stay?
The funny thing is, it's that game mode is probably the most swingiest game mode ever. Just a good couple rush of supers, and it could swip the other way. Could swap.
Yep. We went yesterday. We were leading by 30, maybe it was more, crests, and we ended up losing by 20. Okay, so it can go either way. I agree with you. I think that they should not have. I don't know. They got to do something about people leaving because it does suck. But I'm going to give you a but though. Is that I have only had 2 matches where that's happened. All Iron Banner. So you are very, very unlucky this Iron Banner. Yeah, last Iron Banner, actually, I think it was the same last Iron Banner. And the Iron Banner before, I had tons of them. So, that doesn't make any sense either. And I understand your frustration. I hate going into matches, but I think to help you along so that you're not so frustrated, think of it this way. You are getting drops, whether you win or lose. So don't worry about it.
I wish that were the case, because in addition to being dropped into games where people have quit and they're down, like where is the mercy rule? I know that Crucible is no place for mercy, but how about I don't want to just take it over and over, just shotguns shoved down my throat over and over and over until what? Until time runs out, until they reach 150 points, killing the same 3 people who stayed over and over. This is not fun. I'm ready to get to the fun part, and I have not gotten that many drops. I have not gotten as many drops as would take for me to feel better about getting shit on over and over and over. Like I got a auto rifle. I got the cloak that I was going to buy from Shiro anyways, and I got a class item, and I got the Sparrow.
Wow.
And it's just not worth it. Like I'm actually watching myself go nowhere. This is in addition to the fact that they've taken away daily bounties, something that was small and I could incrementally increase, and I could see I'm getting somewhere with this. But when I don't get anything done, that the rank doesn't move anywhere, and that feels crappy. That feels like hell. I don't want to keep playing.
Wait, are you literally not winning any games? Because in one day, I got to rank 5.
No, I know many people that got to rank 5 on one day, and I just keep losing. I just keep ending up on the wrong team. And this is another thing that I'm having a problem with Supremacy. All it takes is one person who is master of their shotgun to really just wreck a team that is either uncoordinated or just that much lower of a player. Like I've seen many of the matches that I've lost, there was one clear badass on the other team, and they carried their whole team because they went and grabbed all the crests or they're shotgunning. You kill the person with a shotgun, you automatically get their crest. It sucks. It sucks. Iron Banner sucks right now. Jez, do you have something to say?
Yeah, the bounties, the only good part. The good part that they changed with the bounties is they all, no matter what you're doing progress on them. There's no like, get 7 or 10 kills in a row without dying. There's none of that.
I see what you're saying.
They're great.
Even losing, you're working.
For them. That's the only problem. Like the kill one, you have to work. You have to get kills. Basically, you have to get 100 kills. Or, if you're only using primaries, if you're using secondaries, 50 kills and so on. Yeah, the bounties are great. I understand your frustration as far as not having those bounties each day, but your progress should be going up a lot faster than it is. Because at this point, I mean, even if you're even if you're playing by yourself and you're losing 50% of your games, you should still be going up.
If you're losing all of your games, you only need to do 20 to finish that one bounty, and you probably finished all the other ones too.
That's 700 points.
That'll take you probably, at the end, roughly to rank 2, 3. Just the bounties alone.
Remy, I've identified probably 2 main issues that you have right now. One is being that people are dropping out of matches, and really the game has no penalty for doing so, and I strongly agree with you, and most of the people in the chat have agreed. Yeah, Bungie needs to do something, add a penalty, add a cooldown, the chances that you got kicked from a server and you got to wait 5-10 minutes or something is a little bit of a bummer. But if it cuts down on the number of people dropping out of matches just because they're losing, I'm all for it. I'll take that risk. The shotgun thing, this game mode makes the shotgun more OP specific to this game mode because of the ability to pick up the crest in that one maneuver. What do you guys think if, and they're not going to change this, but what if they changed it so that you couldn't pick up the crest of your kill? A teammate had to.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I already posted in the chat what would make Remy happy, and that would be to make shoot the loot work in Supremacy.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I know what would help people maybe stop using shotguns as much. The game mode already does this, but very, very slightly. It doesn't instantly drop the crest. If it dropped it, let's say a second later, that means that those shotgunners that are on the move, or those the Titans that are coming in there and shoulder charging you, because you see a lot of that too, or even Stormcallers, because I normally don't run Stormcaller. Yesterday I decided to get on Stormcaller and see, and oh my goodness, it just wrecks because it's going through and it's picking up stuff and you're just killing people over and over and over again. If it was a delay on the pickup, then you're not going to be getting those crests, and you're going to have to stop and stand there, and then you're going to get shot at. I mean, I don't see Bungie doing that, but it might help the frustration that people that are out there that have with this game right now, because it's very easy to get frustrated. I mean, even Bill Bunny's saying, it's easy to want to rage quit on all kinds of stuff that's happening in this game mode right now. But we'll see what Bungie does.
Agrios, you look like you had something to say.
No, I was going to say something before, but I decided I'll hold off. I'll address that at a different point.
Why don't you give us your thoughts on Iron Banner and Supremacy? You know what, Bill Bunny brings up a good point, talking about people stealing her crest when she's right there. And this is something that I meant to jot down but didn't have a chance to. And this is a minor complaint in comparison to the rest of it. But yeah,
I've
totally seen that. No, I get it, Jez. I understand. But there's a moment where somebody snuck past the lines, right? Here's your team and here's the other team, and then the other team gets one person back here and you kill that person, and then 3 other people rush to get that one. There's nobody else around, no reason to rush to get it, and I clearly killed that person, and they're rushing to get my crest. I mean,
I agree with you to a point. I agree with Jez also. It's a team mode. You shouldn't worry about it. And the person that I'm going to complain about is badass. He is absolutely badass. He kills so many people. His kill death ratio is awesome, and he deserves those crests. But God damn it, Maynard James steals my crest left, right, and center. So yeah, it's so frustrating. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because again, it's a team mode.
Well, frankly, the whole team should go to where the crests are.
Absolutely.
You all should go there. Everybody should be running to where that crest is. So it's whoever happens to get there picks it up for the team, but everybody should be going to where the crests are.
Well, not gonna lie, my favorite part is when you kill some guy with a scout or something, so there's a crest and there's a whole bunch of their team, and they'll stop your firefight and go towards that crest, and you just chuck a grenade and kill a couple more. It's amazing.
But the problem that people are having, and it's Bungie's fault again, is that they have bounties that you want to be at the top of the leaderboard and all this stuff, and the only way to get to the top of the leaderboard is if you're pulling in those crests. So it's, again, there's the frustration that's being put upon us, even though we shouldn't be frustrated, because it doesn't make a difference who picks up those crests.
Conspiracy says that he's got more Xbox Live messages bitching about picking up other people's crests than he has in his entire time on Xbox Live.
What's wrong with people?
No, I do agree. It is a team game, and I would much rather one of my teammates pick it up. But it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's there's like 1 out of every 5 times where it's like it's so obvious, like there's nobody else around, and I'm right here on my way to pick this up, and someone will deviate course to pick it up, and it will, but like they will see me, like we will be closing in on the same direction, and they will race me to it, and they will slide and try and get to it. Like it's again a minor complaint, but I'm glad she brought it up because I meant to bring it up.
I feel like there's see, I would know because I didn't play the whole kill confirm thing, and I don't know how much exactly it works like Supremacy, but I feel like there's got to be some sort of team dynamic plan type situation where you can have, figure out a strategic area of the map to try to not hold down one spot, but like a section of the map, and have like, say, a team of like 3 universal remotes with sidearms and 3 scout rifles with shotguns, and have the scout rifle people try to always link cover to the universal remote people, and have them be the crest nabbers that are always being covered by scout rifle people behind them. Or, substitute whatever you like in there for your short range effects. But like, I feel like there's some sort of team dynamic that could be made like that.
If you really want to maximize it, if you have full super and someone else is nearby, let them pick up the crest.
Right. True. That too is another tactic. If the crests are not in danger of being nabbed, that's pretty good to go.
I do want to add that I have not yet played in a team setting. I have only gone in solo. And this previously in other Iron Banners has yielded me nothing but good times and wins, and so I figured I would give it a try before I spent any time in a group mode. And it's really just been I can't even explain how demoralizing losing after 5 medallions is to me. Like I can get on board with, okay, I lost, I didn't get anything. Maybe if I win, I'll get a little more something when I redeem this medallion. But after 5 losses, I'm like, why am I still doing this? Like, what is the point of this? And then like 6 losses, 7 losses, 8 losses. I'm not getting anything for those times. I mean, I guess there is drops, and I guess it's not totally horrible. But the drops haven't been worth it to me to play against getting no rep. I just feel like I'm going nowhere. I feel like I should be doing something else with my time, but I want to mark off the note in my book. Really, I have plans to try and get all 6 of my characters to rank 5. I think it's totally possible. I've seen people talk about how they blew through all of their bounties, and all of their characters are already rank 5, and they're just playing now for more drops, and that's cool. If you are playing secondary and you're really using your super and heavy rounds to good effect, you can really move through those things quickly. I don't think that I've gotten one heavy kill, and I chose this Iron Banner of all Iron Banners to really go hard with Memory of Felwinter. So I turned off my super in favor of 2 smoke grenades and two regular grenades, and it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy having those supers back quickly. Those picking up crests charges those very quickly, and so I've been able to play in the style that I'm interested in playing a lot more. But I'm getting like nothing for it because I still want to keep that distance in between me and the other person. So I will try and pick a lane where I know there will be heavy traffic, and I'll try and pick people off as they show up to me. When that fails, I kind of sneak around to the side of the corner and I just wait for them to run by, and I will shotgun them. And I've probably killed more people with shotgun in the last 2 days than I have in the entire time that I've played. Well, no, that's not true. There was that bounty on previous Iron Banners where it was like kill 25 people with secondary weapons, but that wasn't shotgun, that was sniper actually. So Remy, I don't know that I've been killed by sniper once this whole Iron Banner.
Remy, speaking of heavy kills, and Agrios, you can help me set this up. I just playing a clip in the stream of something that Fuzzle did that just impressed the heck out of me. Agrios, did you see this?
This did awesome.
Not. Oh, this is a classy way to get a heavy kill and get the Ingram. So he backs up 2 rockets into that little cubby, and he times them just perfectly so that it kicks the Ingram all the way across the courtyard.
Ha! That's awesome.
So
That is
Remy,
awesome.
you can get the heavy kill. You just gotta time it.
Well, no, I'm saying like not even being able to get to the heavy, like
Get to the
because
ammo.
yeah, because people who are good with shotguns are really good with shotguns. You know, they are able to kill from so far off. I don't know why there's such a distance that shotguns are able to one hit cover still. You know, I thought that Bungie had addressed this so that you had to actually get within some kind of danger zone, but there's still so many shotguns that kill from so far away. And I don't want to harp on this, and I want to move on. We're coming up on 45 minutes here, but I just it's just so disheartening to lose constantly, to be put into losing matches constantly, and to just face every single shotgun that's ever been put into Destiny. You know, and I do really enjoy it when people are charging me and I've been putting a bunch of primary into them and then they die before they get to me. Like, that feels really good. I know that person is upset, and it does feel really good to out shotgun a shotgunner. But it's just not enough. You know, the rewards have not been enough for me. The fact that I'm not ranking up at all because I'm not. You know, even kills are difficult when put into this situation. Like, it's just, I understand that some people are really enjoying this, and I understand that it could be a lot of fun. I'm just personally not having a lot of fun, and that sucks.
For you, did you ever play Kill Confirmed?
No,
You didn't.
no. I've played very little of Call of Duty, and basically no multiplayer Call of Duty.
I think from what I've heard from the community so far, I think the biggest thing for people is that this is such a new game mode for people. So people either know it or they don't. If the people that know it kick ass, the people that don't, they suck. You know, and I'm not saying that you suck, but what I'm saying is that, you know, it's a steep learning curve. It's just like when Rift showed up. Okay, when Rift showed up, you know, people have not played that before, and some people really got into it. They learned how to do it, and now they kick ass. You know, and I think once you learn it, you won't necessarily have to stick to the meta. I don't stick to the meta. I refuse. In our group yesterday, I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't need to. Maynard James and I, we had a discussion. He was like, yeah, but Call of Duty used to be shotguns. And I go, yeah, but I wouldn't do it. I don't do shotguns. I don't like shotguns. And you don't have to. You can change the meta and enjoy it still. I think just give it time and get your butt in a group. Get on with Agros and I, and you know, do some matches together and see if it changes your outlook on the game.
Thank you for those words of wisdom, Sharks. Agros, why don't you give us your take and then moving on. Final words.
So I'm having a good time. I like the different maps. I like, you know, being challenged with the differences. You know, new maps, new mode type. It's a very tactical mode type. So, you know, a lot of learning involved there. I enjoy that, but it makes me worse than normal for sure. So, but, you know, at the same time, the challenge is fun, but I can see me enjoying Supremacy a lot more as I learn the tactics and the new maps and things a lot more as time goes. One thing I don't like is, and it's really hurting me, adapting to these things I just talked about, the new game mode and maps and such, is the fact that I'm so limited in my high-level gear. And man, does it suck to try to change gear right before the match ends so that your rewards actually are rewarding. And that's one of the most frustrating parts of the Iron Banner right now is for me. It's like, if I get the notion that, ooh, I think I could do good with this, I don't have that stuff leveled up. Like right now, like I would drop at least 3 light levels to change anything from what I have to use right now. And I have to go earn some high level gear to be able to put into things. And I mean, you just don't have the option to try out a lot of different things. You got to pick something and go with it. You're stuck with that till you happen to get lucky enough to get another piece to put you up there. And it's not the late level to challenge the enemies. You have to be well over 20 light levels away before it starts to really matter and how many bullets it takes to kill you from their gun. It's just, I want to get rewarded for what I'm doing. I really wish that Destiny had a system that could track the highest late level you've obtained on a specific Guardian and give you your rewards based on that. Like if I managed to get this character to 375, and then right now I'm playing at 372 in Iron Banner because I want to use this particular gun, it should still give me my rewards based on that 375 light that I had once attained already with that character.
I agree. That would be cool.
So that's how I feel about the Iron Banner right now. Moving on then, right? So
before we move on, I just want to say something. Probably the funnest map to play this Iron Banner on is the Drifter. Because the engrams just float.
Oh yeah,
that's
I haven't
cool.
played there yet.
I haven't played there yet either. That's
and
awesome.
they go way off the map sometimes.
Oh, that's terrible.
Sharks is
But
saying
that's an interesting tactic. If you're playing near the edge of a map and you all of a sudden see 3 guys from another team turn the corner and they're running at you, just jump off the edge. Doesn't matter if they kill you. You're not going to get your crest.
I like it.
So I'd like to close off our Crucible talk here with a little bit of a very interesting tidbit that I learned. And this grimoire has been around for quite a while, and it's surprising, but the fact that you're not supposed to take A on Shores of Time is actually lore. The grimoire reads, Ghost Fragment, Shores of Time. We were holding B and C, had them locked, but someone always gets cocky. You know the problem with heroes. In the wilds, they save the day. In the Crucible, they cost you the easy win. Always going for glory when the real prize is survival and victory. So the grimoire for Shores of Time tells you not to go capture A.
You do know that was added in this expansion, right?
Oh, it was? No idea. Oh yeah, because they put the ghost shells in all the different things. Okay, so that's why I never heard it before.
All the new, or not all, but a lot of the new Ghost Fragments and other Grimoire cards just are hilarious meta things relating to what people do in the game.
I was pretty impressed by this one.
I did want to add that I thought it was cool that they addressed Lady Efrideet showing up at all, but I feel like it was totally anticlimactic. You know, like it was like I saw that when I was going to the Iron Temple, I saw that it was going to a cutscene, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be so super sweet. She just walks in. What's that?
I said underwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely underwhelming. Like she walks
Nothing
in.
about her is underwhelming.
Just walks in, and her intro was underwhelming. Maybe they meant it to be like that.
I was totally thinking that you were going to say that this week, because I was very disappointed with that. Not even underwhelming. I was disappointed that how Saladin goes, oh, you know, it's I hoped you weren't dead. I figured you weren't dead, or something along those lines. I was like, that is so lame. They could have done so many different things. They could have said, oh, you know, how is it out there where you're going? Because I don't know. Well, wait a minute. You don't know this yet. Maybe I shouldn't say that they have flavor text in when you're talking to her, and I can't remember if the flavor text happens after a certain rank. Maybe it does.
Let me read this one. I wrote down, like, I paraphrased the first part but copied the rest. So this one says, light is so much more than a weapon. Now I have a whole family of guardians in the outer system who believe the same. And before you ask, no, I won't tell you who they are or where. Is this the one? I chose to return. I cannot risk someone forcing that choice upon the others. Like there's just even more questions, and getting to this was just, you know, it was just, what I wanted was this. I wanted to maybe go to the Iron Temple, pick up a mission from Saladin, or even I wouldn't even mind going to the Iron Temple and having this cutscene start where Saladin says, "Hey Guardian, I just picked up a distress signal from this place, and we gotta go right now, because if it's who I think it is, this is really important." And then you go fight somebody, and you help this lady Efrideet out. She just waltzes in. It's just so anticlimactic. I really wanted to go and help her out, or even just show up in time to watch her having completely destroyed the opposition, and she didn't need us anyways. Like, anything more than what they did would have been awesome.
Basically, what they're doing is I have it up on my screen right now. In the pursuit of light, that's what it would complete the quest, and she talks about being out, in the wild, and someday I'm going to show you. Hopefully, I'll be able to show you. They're setting this all up for future stuff, just like they did with all the other characters. You do these little bits and pieces and pull us in. But I agree. I totally agree with you. They dropped the ball on this one. It was so. Oh, okay, that's Efrideet. Wow.
It seems so unrealistic to me. Like, so this is the first time Saladin and her are meeting after all of this time, and she walks in. Like, hey,
literally
what's up?
Centuries.
Literally centuries. Actually, centuries.
Yeah.
Right. So she's like, hey, what's up? And he's not like, like, oh my God, how did you survive? Do you know the fate of anyone else? Like, he just like, he doesn't even look at it. He's like, look at the fire. He's like, glad you made it.
I did want to point out that it was very cool that when he heard her voice, or sometime shortly after he realized she was there, he did get the biggest smile on his face that I have ever seen. And that was cool that he showed much more emotion and was clearly happy about it. But yeah, I mean, there was an opportunity to even just tell us that they don't have time to explain, which,
Okay, so there was
Titans. I'm pretty sure Titans don't. I'm pretty sure Titans are kind of like, I don't want to say forced, but most of them, as they're portrayed, are like the only emotion they can express is rage. Otherwise, they're stone.
Okay,
what
I was gonna say is, I may be stepping on Agrios's toes for stuff that's gonna pop up, but River put forward an article that was written this last week, and it was somebody that was really, they were kind of bad mouthing Bungie, and I think that they went to the extreme, because I don't agree with a lot of what they said. But one of the things they did talk about was the lack of, really, it's the lack of story or the lack of emotion that you're getting from the characters in Rise of Iron, especially when you're comparing it to, when they brought Cade in and all the banter that they had back and forth. That was the one part of the article that I kind of agreed with, is that the storytelling for this expansion was lackluster. That's a nice way of putting it, and that's what ruined it. And that's going into Efrideet coming in there. It's just very, very lackluster what they could have done with it. And it's dumb. It's dumb that they do stuff like that.
So right. I kind of took this a different way. And I agree, they could have done better to flesh out this character, make it more engaging for us to participate in bringing her into the game. I completely agree. What I actually took away from the interaction was more how Iron Lords interact with one another, right? Because initially I thought that this group of Iron Lords was a tight-knit group. They were like Guardian 1, we're brothers. But the way that they interact is much more like lone wolves that do fight together when they have a common interest, but when they are not fighting together, they are very independent and seek out their own goals and their own means. That's what I took away from it, and not this any kind of you owed me, we have this relationship, I haven't seen you in centuries. It's just, they are lone wolves as an Iron Lord.
Okay, I get that, and I can get behind that, but still, a very heartily felt, oh shit, really was warranted here. Like Saladin is like holding his teacup or whatever, and he drops it, and like is surprised. I needed him to be some kind of surprised, just a little bit. Centuries have gone by, and he thought that he was right. He's like hanging out next to the fire, and he's got these wolves, and he's like, oh, thank God those guardians are all sleeping. And then she's like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh,
you know, now I'm imagining Saladin sitting there with his teacup and saucer, and he drops both, and his mouth gapes open, and his monocle pops out.
Right, and
that would have been better.
He pulls out his cane and he starts doing a little soft shoe. But yeah, I feel like it was that there should have been more. Period. I don't even care what it was. It could have been more of this stoic nature. Like I really feel like I feel like now that we've talked about this, best case scenario would have been we rushed to help her and she didn't need any of that help. Like that would have been awesome. Like Saladin says, hey, we got to get out of here. We have to help this person. We fight through a bunch of bad guys and she's just sitting there drinking her tea. And like, it's no big deal. Like that would have been awesome too.
So I justified in my head her arrival was because she saw the relighting of the beacons at Felwinters Peak or whatever.
Yeah, I could see that. That'd be really cool. I don't think there was any mention of this.
No, I'm just assuming, I'm filling in the blanks in my own head, like trying to justify the weak entrance, so to speak. Like I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can justify Efrideet just showing up because, this place has been sealed and we went and lit the beacons and now, she noticed the Felwinter Peaks all opened up again and that's why she's returned. But I just, Saladin's lack of concern or interest as to what happened with her, I found unacceptable.
Well,
I felt
knew.
like, he's so concerned about Eva getting answers that he doesn't care about how she escaped.
Yeah, but no, he obviously, okay, so I think you guys are missing something, okay? I believe that she left, and he knew that she left. She was off doing something else. That's why she wasn't fighting Siva, right? And that's why she says that there's all kinds of different people out there, out in the wild, and maybe someday I'll take you there, and so she had a different mission, and that's why he wasn't surprised that she wasn't dead as far as Siva goes. But he hadn't seen her for centuries, so who knew what happened? There still should have been some kind of reaction, but it wasn't. Siva wasn't what killed her. He knew that. He knew that she wasn't going to be dead because of that, because she was already long gone.
Yeah, I was going to just say, do we know when she left? Like, were the Iron Lords? The Iron Lord's still chilling with Siva in good standing when she left, or did she see that everyone was having too good of a time and she's like, I gotta get out of here before this party gets moldy.
I may have been under the wrong impression that, like Sharks is saying, that he says she was off on another mission or something, and he just knew that she was off on this other mission. I got the impression that she just disappeared during the final battle section with Siva there. I don't really know when she disappeared. I just hearsay on that.
Going by this biography, apart from Lord Saladin, Efrideet's the only Iron Lord to survive the original Siva outbreak. She kept her survival a secret from Saladin, having witnessed the fall of her friends and lost the will to fight.
There it is.
Yeah, that's what I thought, actually.
So she was there, and then she just kind of, well, we're losing. See you later.
Right, that's kind of the way I am at parties. I hate to say goodbye to people, and so I just kind of sneak off.
It's fitting that she's the Supremacy Iron Banner Master because she leaves the match early.
Right, she leaves the match early.
Oh!
She was hanging out in the back, and she
I
was
love
hard
this synergy.
stomping.
Bungie planned this. They knew this.
Yeah.
It should be noted that the fall of her friends was the end of the fight, so it's not like she left during the middle of the fight.
No.
It's basically the doors closed,
it was after
and
the
Saladin's
doors
like,
shut,
no, and then she's like,
I'm out of here. I can't deal with this. I'm gonna go. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. What do we got, Agrios? Did everyone have speak their piece on this? Oh, that's right. That was an aside that I wanted to talk about. Okay, yeah, Supremacy is crap. We talked about that. Cool that there was a cutscene. Holy crap, how anticlimactic. We talked about that. Okay, just really quickly, I wanted to make note that I love how they've treated the book this time around. Like, the book is given to everyone who has this expansion, and in this book is multiplayer, and there's PvE, and there's raid, and like, I love having all of this wrapped up in this one book. I love that I can go to it and see, what do I need to do next. Like, I love everything that I feel like the book this time around is the culmination of everything that they've done so far, and it feels really great. Just wanted to throw that out there. I also want to.
What rank are you?
I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. I haven't picked up any of the rewards except for the consumables.
Sound like him.
So while we're talking about the book, this seems like I was going to bring something else, but this seems like a good time to talk about this. In the book, the one of the rewards is the ornaments for the armor provided by the book. However, it's been confirmed that you only get one ornament via the book. Therefore, in order to put ornaments on the rest of your gear, you need to get lucky enough to pull them from your packages. And even then, you also need to get enough extra ornaments that you're willing to scrap so you can pay to put them on the pieces that you have.
I'm pissed.
Right. I can't wait to get to what Sharks is pissed about.
No, I'm pissed about
How
this.
do you guys feel about the way they're running ornaments and silver dust? Sharks?
I bet he's going to talk about. I bet he's going to talk about Saladin.
Let everybody else go first. Let everybody else go first, so I can try to calm down before we start talking about this.
Okay, I don't think it's so horrible. Like, I understand that they've weighted it in favor of you having to purchase more of these Radiant packages, but I don't feel like it's totally necessary for me to have each of my characters having glowing armor. It's cool. It is really cool, but I don't feel bad about just getting one a week. I would like a second package. There was 3 that you could pick up every week with the Sterling packages, and that was really cool because that gave you a chance to build them up and to go through them. I still got many, and if we ever get Vault Space again, I'm going to go through them and try and get taken armor for each of my characters. But I don't feel horrible about getting one free a week for a strike list that I was going to probably doing anyways. So I'm not terribly upset about that. Gray, what do you think about this? The Radiant packages, you get one, and additionally you get these items from this book. You get one ornament for these things in the book, and you have to get lucky on that one package you get a week.
I'd like to pay more money to have other perks in the game, to be honest. If I could pay money to be the only person with Universal Remote, I'd do it. Let's do it. Microtransactions for the win. I'm being facetious, of course. I don't know that I get so worked up over it. I'm a little bummed that a lot of the ornaments I have I can't use yet. So that's the long game for me, right? I'm not going to necessarily buy these packages from Eververse quite yet. But it'll give me something that while I'm waiting for Destiny 2 to come out, I'll be collecting and working on this. I don't get the satisfaction of enjoying my iron armor all aflame today. None of it's aflame because I don't have enough silver dust to activate any of it. So I'll be doing that months from now once I've collected enough.
Right. I was really surprised to see that Lord Saladin was selling Iron Banner armor for microtransaction properties. Like, this was pretty crazy to me. Jez, what do you think about these Radiant packages and the fact that you only get one ornament for those Iron Lords, and you have to luck out by buying more or just waiting for these to show up in the future?
So, a couple points. A, it's cosmetic, so it's not that worrisome. But B, every package you open, in addition to whatever ornament you give, it has a chance to give you an iron ornament or whatever. I know because I have it.
Those engrams they're talking about that you can buy for the silver dust aren't just cosmetic, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about ornaments right now.
Okay. Well, I thought that was.
But,
I thought that was part of the question, but
those technically are still cosmetic because they appear as level 3.
But they still have different intellect discipline rules and such, and different.
Yeah,
perks.
but technically you could also do that with your armor too. It gives you different intellect, whatever rolls. I mean, you're stuck with whatever stats it has, but the rolls change every time you pick a new one out.
Correct. But, right. Okay.
Only thing that changes,
I see what you're saying
the only
there.
thing that changes is the intellect, discipline, and strength. Everything else is the same.
Yeah,
on those
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just
Sharks,
the percentage on it.
But you can't pay to re-roll for, you can pay to re-roll for pulse rifle reloader, but you can't, just
not for, technically, yeah. But at the same time, you could also run the raid and re-roll the raid armor.
But you only get so many of those things that you need to re-roll it per week, right?
Yeah, so many being roughly 60 a week if on all 3 characters.
That is quite a bit.
It's enough that there's 3 chests and you can unlock 2 of them every week.
I actually like that system. At first, when I saw that it was re-rolling, I thought, why would anyone do this? Why would anyone break down a Siva cache key to get more of these pieces? And then I saw that you could re-roll those things. I wish that there was a way of choosing it so it wasn't totally random, but I'm ready
to tell you last time to keep those broke down because you can transfer them across characters.
Oh, but you can't change, you can't transfer keys, huh?
You can with keys, but you got to go to the bank, then go to your other character, go to the bank, pick it out. But you
can with the app.
Yeah, with the fragments.
Oh, the fragments transfer with the app. That is excellent news. Do you know what they stack to? 299?
Probably 200.
That's awesome. I didn't think about that, and that makes me happy to know because now I'm planning on doing that. Thank you very much for that tidbit, Jez. But now it is time for us to turn the spotlight over to Sharks because I know he's pissed off about this, and I can't wait to hear it because, I don't know, it's nice to not be the only person pissed off about something on this podcast. Sharks, take it away.
Okay, let's start out with the very first time they showed us this gear. Okay? All over the place. Get this gear, and then they said it. They said, I don't remember where it was, which review they were talking about, or which interview it was, but they said you can gain this gear by playing the game. Okay? That's bullshit. That's complete and utter bullshit. No. When you put RNG, into it, and you're not playing the game in order to get the ornament, you're logging in once a week and opening up a damn package that has a small chance of getting that ornament. And it's not even an ornament, actually. Okay, well, it's an ornament, but getting that extra ornament for the gear, because we're talking about lighting up that gear, right? Okay, and you don't need one. You need multiple versions of it in order to do some of the gear. Like the chest piece is 2. Plus, you have to have, if I remember right, it's 5 silver. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's more. Maybe it's less. I don't know. So you have to have... No, it's not 1. It is not 1.
It's more expensive for the trials, and the certain armor pieces cost more silver dust than other ones to apply the ornaments to.
Just think, Sharks, after the 7 to 20 weeks that you opened up those caches, you'll have enough ornaments to break down for that.
That's the math, and he's like...
Wait a minute. I know people that do not have a full Taken set that played every single week and got 3 packages a week. So do not, and I'm talking about people that actually opened it. I'm not counting you, Agrios. Okay, so don't tell me that you're guaranteed to have it after so many weeks. That's BS. All right. And secondly, you're only getting 1 per week. You're getting 1. Okay, I've opened 2 so far. I haven't gotten any. Okay, I got 2 crappy ornaments that I'm never going to use because one's on a universal remote, which I don't use, and the other one's on a piece of crap brand new machine gun that is garbage. All right, so I'm not going to use those. I'll probably break those down for silver. Okay, I have 3 characters, and I want all that Iron Lord set glowing because that's what they were promoting, all this glowing armor. And the only way I'm going to get it is if I break down and buy it and play RNG, play gamble. It would be totally, totally different if they were selling them. Say, okay, $5 you get 2, or whatever their number is. Okay, I'd be down for that. You're guaranteed to get it, but to gamble to maybe get it is wrong. It was bad enough when I did it for the skull helmet. I will not do it for this, and it just pisses me off because I want that gear. I want that gear lit up. That was the whole point in having it, and that was part of my whole point in grinding up to. I'm at rank 20. I'm at rank 22. No, 22 is the thing. I'm at rank 20 right now to get those stupid ornaments so I could light up all my gear. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit, and it is just another step down the lane of Bungie and Activision, one or the other or both, putting this into pay to win, because this is more than just ornaments, because you can buy gear. You can
10%
buy 10%
increase to your shooting with the ornaments. Got it.
No, not with the ornaments, with the gear that you can buy from Saladin. You're paying for that. So you know, it's just
only at a low light level.
It doesn't matter what light level.
Rifle reloader, or better armor, or extra sniper ammunition, or.
I'm gonna revert to the same argument before, that chances are, if you're playing enough to get the 385 light level, that's more important than having a slightly reloading faster sniper.
Okay, I agree with you. Light level makes a lot more, means a lot more. I'm 386 on my characters. That means a lot more than other roles. But if you're playing up against 386 people, you want to have, like, for instance, I like my fast reload on my snipers. So I would, in theory, I would buy gear over and over and over again. But what I'm saying is, and I agree with you, and it's all random. I wouldn't have an issue with this ornament thing if it wasn't random. If you could just plain old buy it. But you can't. You cannot buy it. I'm going to have to sit there and wait.
Pig Jockey in the chat says Bungie worked with phone app people to figure out how to get people hooked on shit. Look it up. It's true. And this is true. This is a very fun fact.
They also brought in psychologists to help them do the same thing, too.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
No, I don't really care about the ornaments being, pay for the silver dust, having to pay for and stuff like that. I, on a principle level, don't like the RNG behind it when you're dealing with the real money gambling, especially in a game that potentially targets kids. It's rated T for teen, okay? So it's targeting youths. I'm not a big fan of that particular setup in that game. Although it doesn't apply to me because I'm not into buying cosmetics for my characters and whatnot. The one thing I don't like, and Jez is right, it's not a big deal. The difference is minuscule. The amount I play and time I put into it, I can likely find myself a really nice pair of gauntlets with the reloaders and perks I want on them and all the armor I want on them. But the fact is that it's across a line and can get worse. The fact that someone can go into the game who has unlimited resources, unlimited amount of money, why I'm say resources, and just pump money into there till they get themselves the perfect set and have an advantage over me in the Crucible. Because they were willing to pump enough money in that they have the perfect, sniper ammo or shotgun ammo and reloaders, and they have the perfect setup now because they were willing to just pump enough money in to get that. Is it a huge advantage? No. But it is an advantage, and they can pay for it with real money, and it's the whole slippery slope thing to me.
Okay, so there was a really excellent article in Forbes, I believe it was, about how there's different kinds of real money. There's microtransactions. There's basically three options moving forward, and Bungie has chosen the worst of the worst. And so, long story short, I think that this might have been Paul Tassi at Forbes. I'm pretty certain it was Paul Tassi at Forbes. But so they wrote that there needs to be the best of all possible worlds would be if they sold gun skins, or specifically for $10 each. And at first, when I read this, I thought that was ridiculous. But he said that basically they have RNG behind RNG behind RNG. So if you were to buy, if you were to buy the gun skin. If you were to buy 5 of those Radiant Treasures at $2 a piece, and you didn't like any of those 5, and you broke them down, you'd have 25 of those pixie dust, and then when Xur showed up, you could buy whichever ones those were, and so that would be $10. So you could gamble on these 5 packages, $10, or you could just spend $10 on one that you specifically wanted. And after I read this article, and I meant to forward all this to you, Gray, so that you could put it in the description and also have read it yourself. But it made a lot of sense to me. A lot of people aren't interested at all in RNG. They're not interested at all in, maybe if I buy this, I might get something that I want. I know that I'm one of those people. I'm not somebody who's interested in just gambling away money on something that I might get, but I'm definitely interested in spending money on something that I will get, something that I choose for myself. And this is something that needs to be in Destiny. I want to spend money. I've talked about this on the show previously. I want to give them more of my money, but if I don't know what I'm getting, I'm not interested in getting it. And if they offered these things up, then they would be getting more money from more people like me who I want to spend those dollars. Sharks is saying similar. I want to spend dollars. I want to give Bungie my money, but I am not at all interested in spending $10 and then not getting anything that I want. And even if I did spend that $10 and broke all those down for pixie dust, and then I still have to wait that maybe Xur will bring it someday. And this is frustrating. This is really frustrating because certainly that there's many ones that I would like to purchase, but I mean, this again, they wouldn't be able to wrangle in the people who have problems, basically have gambling problems, basically. Sharks, did you have something you wanted to add to that? Did you read that article, or you just?
Yeah, no, I did read that article. No, the other thing, it kind of went off onto another part when you said that about maybe someday they'll give it to you or they'll sell it to you or whatever. I mean, they're already doing that with old gear. We Agrios and I had a really big conversation the other day. We kind of frustrated. I was really frustrated. I don't know why I wasted my time going and doing all my trial stuff the last month, so I could get all this gear that people weren't ever going to have because it's dropping like flies now when you play trials. They need to set a course, and they need to stay on that course and let us know what they're going to do. It's what's the point in having something and then later on down the road they're just going to give it to you too. I don't know. That
is an excellent point. That really ticked me off when this whole expansion came out, particularly with things that there's not even any reason to do it with, like the old Iron Banner emblems. Yeah. Like if you want to make them available again, that's fine, but still make it that you have to get rank 5 in order to buy them. Like that was an achievement. You could wear the rank 5 Iron Banner emblem, and people knew you rank 5 Iron Banner. I mean, not that it's a huge hard thing to do, but I mean. So what, are we going to see a kiosk come with the next update where they sell the year 1 and 2 Trials emblems for 5,000 glimmer each?
Probably.
That means nothing when you wear that now too? Like that really bothers me.
My ship is not going to be super duper anymore because they're going to just sell it to somebody. My
Uh,
bullshit.
Jelly
the things you have to
says,
earn that you got as a guaranteed drop for like achieving something in the game, I definitely have a problem with them selling for like Glimmer or anything like that later.
Jelly says, I will literally never give real money for anything other than proper Bungie content. Don't care for cosmetics, and that's it. You've broken free of that, of their hold. You know, you aren't interested in RNG. You're not interested in cosmetics. You know, you aren't going to buy it. I wonder if you would be interested in purchasing something if you knew just what you were going to get, because I know that, you know, there's many. I've gotten 2 ornaments that I just don't care for, and I'm going to break them down. I don't use invective. I think it would be really cool to have invective with that broken lava look. I got that one, and I'm just not really interested in it, so I'm going to break that down. But I know that there are some that I would love to have. Specifically, that really slick looking high voltage for the Zella Supercell. I would purchase that. I don't know that I would purchase it for $10, but I'd be much more likely to purchase it for $10 than try and get that out of 5 different packages. Maybe
How much
even
silver
same
dust
thing
do you think
for
it should cost to go to the lighthouse?
Ha!
Just to unlock the lighthouse? 50 silver dust?
I don't know. That would be crazy. If Bungie really wanted to make some money, that would be the way to do it. Okay, are we done and past this? Are we moving on?
Sure.
Moving on.
So, hard mode raid drops October 18th. So everybody's going to have to gear up. Any speculation on what changes we're going to see to the raid? I should add here, we didn't say it last week, but the world's first was taken by Clan Redeem. So I'm sure they're going to be vying for going for hard mode first as well. But I mean, now that we know the raid layout, now that everybody's run it a bunch of times and knows how to do everything that's in there now, I figure a lot more teams are going to be in the contention. What do you guys see in the future for hard mode here, Remy?
Hold on one second. Pig Jockey brings up another interesting point that it's right alongside, maybe even more so, your point of interest on the Iron Banner emblems. Pig Jockey found the Dead Orbit exotic cloak as a legendary. He got the Dead Orbit exotic cloak dropped to him as a legendary, and this really pissed him off because he spent all of that time putting in for the exotic cloak, and that's a bummer.
It seems all the exotic cloaks are available as legendaries.
You know what?
Is that right?
I should ask this in the chat. I am curious. Since it dropped for him, does it still give the same buff? And you get the rep? Gray's answering the question. So, and you don't get the rep for Dead Orbit either, right?
It's just like every other standard cloak that you would get from the Dead Orbit packages.
So technically, your exotic still is different.
It's not visually unique anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not looking, but it still has the other stuff.
Because right along with that whole selling the Iron Banner emblems, like you earned the right to wear that. People saw that. They know you're ranked 25 with them, and now they can't visually tell that anymore.
Unless you die and respawn, and then something happens. But you're right. No, it sucks.
Okay, so what was the question, Agrios?
So I said the Wrath of the Machine raid launches on October 18th. We know the Clan Redeem won the world's first on the first raid there. They will likely be, going for hard mode first again, although we should have a lot more clans competing as well. What are your feelings on hard mode raid? What surprises do you think it holds in store? What for each stage is going to change?
Man, this is a great question. This is something that I've been thinking about after having run the raid, so many times. I think I've run it think I've run it 6 or 7 times now. With it was once we got the communication and the DPS down, they just really go very quickly. I've had just a really great time running them, and I've been thinking about what we're going to see changed. And just not being able to revive is it's already going to be crazy. I am glad that they're giving us a bunch of time to raise our levels, our light levels. I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to get ready for this hard mode than it was to get ready for the regular raid. But what I keep imagining are more exploder shanks. Like this is as I'm playing this, I keep thinking, okay, in hard mode, there's going to be so many exploder shanks showing up, because that's really something that screws you. Exploder shanks, like showing up behind you all quiet. That's a big bummer. Sharks, what do you think about the new the hard mode raid? What do you think they're going to add? What do you think is going to be different?
Well, I mean, I'm sure they're going to make a lot of things yellow, but I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it as far as mechanic wise. I mean, we were guessing stuff, especially on the last boss. Our team was, remember, and we were trying to figure out, stand on different things, make them not teleport and this and that, and maybe you have to do certain things like that. But I don't know. I look forward to seeing some of these new things. I don't really want to speculate too much, because it's very unlikely that we're going to get it right. But I'm looking forward to more of a challenge, as opposed to just going in there and whoever's strongest light can go through it. But I am kind of worried on one thing, is that they initially said that this raid, not counting challenge modes, this raid was very, very much based on people's light. So is there a possibility, I'll throw this out to you guys, is there a possibility that there aren't going to be that many changes to it, and it's just going to be harder as far as more yellows and more enemies?
Gray, what do you think?
I actually completely agree with Sharks. I've been trying to think about, from a mechanic standpoint, what they would do that would be that much different, while still keeping some of that core mechanic in, and I'm struggling. The monitors, that whole boss battle makes the most sense, because we've identified other monitors. Putting in more monitors, that's pretty low-hanging fruit as far as what they can do to change it to keep everybody having to juggle things more. But outside of that,
there's monitors that are facing other directions.
And what if
like
they
there's
throw up
some
3 at a
monitors
time
that are
that you got to shoot
right
down?
Right.
And that's what I think they're probably going to do.
I like that. I like that a lot.
But that's about the only mechanic that I can wrap my head around right now that seems like something that would make sense. Now, when King's Fall came out with hard mode or heroic mode, I thought I remembered a report essentially that said they originally designed heroic mode and then scaled things back for normal mode. It was
Correct.
designed, right? It was designed with heroic mode as that's what the raid
100%
is.
correct.
I'm curious if they did that for this one too, and because that was mainly mechanic based, right? Mechanics changed quite a bit. Or if it's going to be like with Crota, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I figured that hard mode on Crota was just harder, more enemies, but the mechanics didn't really change that much.
There was no
they got rid of
chalice.
mechanics.
What's that?
I said they got rid of mechanics, include like the chalice.
Yeah. So it was just more enemies, more powering through.
Oh, and they changed the knight that charges at you turned into a wizard.
You're a smart guy. What do you think? Have you put thought into what's going to change in hard mode?
More monitors, more containment cells that you have to throw balls at, stupid stuff like that. Maybe they'll use that supercharge mechanic as like you both have to do that. Like you have to dunk on him and dunk on that. But I don't see anything other than more yellows. That's about it. it's like they're trying not to focus on mechanics, so chances are they're not adding more mechanics. They're just adding more of what they have.
Agrios, why don't you give us your take and then moving on?
I agree with a lot of the ideas that have been shared. They're similar to some of the things I've thought. I think maybe in the final boss battle, empowereds may not get replaced as they're used. Like, you keep getting 3 empowereds, but you don't really need that as long as the other 2 are where he's likely to teleport to. If he's on right side, he's going to go left or center. So you only really need, 2 empowered. So, whenever the empowereds go away, a new one always pops up. Well, what if the empowereds tick away as you use them? Something along those effects.
Oh, that would be really cool.
The problem with that is, aside from like the first teleport, there's always 3 possible locations.
Yeah, but the one in the center could be hit by either of the other 2.
Could,
Center,
but
center.
Yeah, we didn't start having those 3 people cover just those 3 areas until we realized that he wasn't going to teleport back to where he already was. Like, we were still having people go left, right, and middle, because middle was fairly easily could reach the center and the back. So I see what you're saying.
So now, if I understand things correctly, okay, so if he goes from right and then teleports down to center, can he go back to right again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking for that at one point as well, Agrios.
Okay. And then another thing, I think, exploder shanks everywhere.
Yeah, exploder shanks everywhere.
Exploder shanks everywhere. That's the other thing I'm calling. Sorry.
Something I noticed in the middle.
There's one other question I have for you guys. Do you think that they will do what they did in the King's Fall raid and make it tiered for the hard mode? So for King's Fall, the easy mode was, pretty standard. The hard mode was easy, harder. Do you think they'll do that again? Or
Absolutely.
will they just make it all hard?
I think easy mode's even that way as far as the late levels of enemies you're facing on the way through.
Yeah.
That's true. Jez, what were you going to say?
I can't remember. I think it was more along the lines of in the middle, I found more issues with the sniper shanks than any of the exploder shanks.
Yep.
Oh, I should also mention, it's not hard mode. It's heroic mode. So they might be going to have fun with it, and they might do a rotation on hard mode mechanics. Or heroic mode
like
mechanics.
burns and stuff.
Yeah.
Catapult, arc burn.
That would be pretty cool.
They might. I mean, highly unlikely,
That's
but
big too for all the old raids anyway. They should have already did that for the old raids. The under late level raids, they should have made weekly modifiers on them.
yeah. Change it up every week.
Yep. For current late level rewards.
Okay. Yeah, I think that that's an interesting way of looking at sharks. I could definitely see them doing that. We have 20-something minutes. 28 minutes. We have 28 minutes. What else do we got, Sharks? Agrios. What else do we got? I want to make sure we get through as much as possible.
Okay, so let's see here. I got a little discombobulated here. All right, so something else we didn't talk about, but it was pretty important. This is something we missed last week, was Destiny 2. What are they doing with our characters? Where is that going? There was a pretty interesting article on Kotaku centering around some leaked information. Let's find the quote here exactly. I've heard that Bungie's leadership wants Destiny 2 to feel like a proper sequel, even if that means leaving old planets, characters, and activities behind. In conversations with me, people connected to Bungie have made comparisons to Blizzard's Diablo 2, which iterated on the first game in some incredible ways, but didn't carry over characters or content from Diablo. I don't know exactly how much we will change in Destiny 2, but all signs point to the developers starting from scratch. D2 is a completely different game, said one person familiar with the development. The Taken King was a reboot for Destiny 1 to fix small things. This is the overhaul to fix big things. So, how do you guys feel about this? What's the minimum they could do to make you happy? And what do you expect to really happen?
Okay, so I would be really surprised if nothing that we did in Destiny 1 carried over. You know, one of the things that drew me to Destiny was the fact that, you know, we were growing these characters over the years and the idea of them leaving behind things like armor and weapons, while that makes some amount of sense, it's still, it bothers me. The idea that I've spent so many hours doing inventory management and then them just dropping all of it really disturbs me. And actually it's helped me delete some things that I didn't really want to delete, but I know that I don't need. Like, it's at one point I had 10 spaces in my vault. That was mostly due to engrams that I had been saving, and once I hit 365, I just wanted to get to the next level. But I feel like if they're not going to bring anything over, then what the hell were they talking about? You know, like I think that they need the bare minimum that they need to bring over are our ranks with the different factions, and like stats, you know, how many Fallen I've killed already, how many Cabal I've killed, how many kills with auto rifles and shotguns, things like this. Like these stats are very small. You know, they need to transfer over. I imagine that it would be something like we did when, you know, they cut out last gen. You log into the new system. You know, in this case, it would be Destiny 2. You log into Destiny 2, and there's a screen that says, "Hey, we're transferring everything over that we plan on transferring over, and now is your chance to decide that that's what you want to do. None of this none of this in Destiny 1 is going to matter anymore. You are hopping over to Destiny 2 at this point." But you know, the more I think about it, do I really need any of these guns? Do I really need any of these armors? You know, and really, when it comes down to it, I don't need any of these guns. I don't need any of this armor. I love having them. I love collecting them. I love, you know, that really against all odds, some of these weapons I got have really great rolls, and knowing that was just what was happening. You know, like I have two different Year 1 Shadow Price. They're both different roles. I love them both equally. And I want to bring them over. I want to have that with me. I want it as a trophy, at least. This could actually work into what you were saying, Jez. What if you didn't sacrifice these things into an ornament or something that you hang on the wall in Destiny, in our current iteration, but moving into Destiny 2, you can bring over all this crap, but it's just a decoration. I could get on board with that. I don't want to. I still want to play. Like, there's so much replay value in Destiny. Just changing your weapon changes the whole game. It changes the way it feels. It changes your attitude. It changes your play style. Even just your primary, moving from Shadow Price, you know, to a hand cannon or to a pulse rifle. You know, it changes the whole way the game feels, and I love that. And I don't want to lose that. And also, I can't imagine just bringing over exotics. The idea of just bringing over exotics is ridiculous to me, in that, well, if we're bringing Yellowhorn and all of these things over, and I don't know why we wouldn't, because it's so much a part of the lore, apparently, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to lose anything, but there has to be something. There has to be more than just an emblem. I played 3 years of Destiny 1, and, you know, now here is Destiny 2. I just can't imagine it. Gray, what do you think about this? What do you think about how much they're going to pull over? How much should they pull over? You know, what would make you happy, Gray?
So we've already established that I'm not nearly as nostalgic about the items in the game as you are, Remy. And I more care about continuity, that it makes sense with the story, that there's a reason why these things aren't being carried over. What I would like to see, essentially, is the story mirror what's happening to our characters, which means if we don't get to carry any of this stuff over, but maybe they give us something to remember what we had by, maybe we get a book that shows all the guns, all the armor. Maybe with the guns, it actually gives stats of how many kills you had with that gun during Destiny 1. But then have something in the story like, I don't know, the tower blowing up and the vault getting destroyed. And that's why you're starting fresh. You don't have anything. All your stuff got blown up in that process, and you're starting anew. So you have something to remember those old things, but they slowly reintroduce new gear, and they can reintroduce even the old gear as the story allows. What I don't want to see, what would really make me mad, is for them to have all this stuff taken away from us and nothing in the story explain why that's the case.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Let's see. As randomly says, the weapons and armor, quote unquote, are the guardians to some people, and that's actually something that we've covered on the show. Is that that's what it is. The only difference between my hunter and Sharks' hunter is the gear that we're using, the weapons and armor. If we were to use the same exact weapons and armor, our guardians would be exactly the same. So you're totally right. The weapons and armor are your guardian. Everything else is the same. You know, I mean, there is ways of you know, changing the path, you know, pretty deeply. You know, if you're using Quiver versus Bloodbound, you know, that's two very different mechanics on the same tree. But if we had exactly the same thing, we would just be exactly the same guardian. There was, you know, how many times Sharks has gone around the Dead Orbit rank wheel, you know, that is not represented in anything other than that exotic cloak that you may or may not be wearing. Like this, they're totally identical. So, you know, these things are, but many of the people, Jelly says, keep grimoire, emblems, shaders, ships, sparrows, and exotic class items for the rep boost. Alan in Japan says, emblems, grimoire, shaders only. Don't care for weapons and armor. Don't want to be using Might of the Last Word, etc. for the next 4 years. You know, these, I could see that, and I would say that's definitely on one side of the what I would want them to bring over. But at the same time, you know, like what's the point of bringing all that stuff over, any of that stuff, if they're just going to give us new stuff? And I wish I could be a fly on the wall listening to this conversation that they have to be having there, or at least had to have had at some point. Jez, what do you think about this? What do you think they should carry over? What do you think they're going to carry over? How do you think that's going to look?
I think my opinion is the most controversial, considering it's wipe it all. Start over.
That is pretty controversial.
Considering, like, the most argument I've seen is, what's the point of gathering all this gear if they're just wiping it? It's like, the point of the gear is to play the game now, to have fun now. It's not to hold on to it and look at it later. Like that is a point, but it's like, it's not getting tier 12 or whatever, or getting 385 light. Like, people are banning that because they're like, well, it makes no sense to do it that in the future. It's like, well, it's for playing now. It's for fun now. The time, all the things that you put into it is just to have fun now.
I'll have to think on that. Sharks, what do you think?
You're gonna have your mind blown. I agree with Jez. I actually, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, I hope that Destiny 2 isn't in the Cosmodrome, isn't on Venus, isn't in any of those planets. Well, okay, so we're going to go back to what Efrideet said, that, oh, maybe when your light's higher, I'll take you out and see my friends. Okay, it's out somewhere else. We're going to meet new enemies. She's going to take us out there. Or let's say it's the Exo Stranger. I'm going to take you back in time. Well, guess what? You can't take all your armor and your guns with you, so you don't have any of that stuff anymore. You're going to have, you know, you just happen to show up when you have basic armor on. So you're going to have to acquire all kinds of new stuff, and you won't be stuck with using Galahorn or using the last word. It's all going to be new stuff. You're the only issue I'm having with this is like what everybody's saying, that Bungie said, oh, well, you're going to be with these characters for the quote unquote 10 years that they've kind of reneged on. They said it's not a 10-year plan. But let's say, okay, so they're going to be, your character's going to be with you up for those 10-year plan. Well, who gives a crap, to be quite honest, because I've been listening to this story, Rise of Iron, and you know how many times my character talks? 0. You know who talks for me? The damn ghost. Okay, so that's it, you're losing all the all that. Oh, it's my character, but it's you that has done this stuff. Just like Jez is saying, you're doing it in the moment. I've gotten to the point now, and I'm still hoarding. I still got stuff, and I've got stuff that I really don't want to get rid of. But I'm like, you know what? There's no point in holding on to this. Yeah, it's nostalgia. Whoopie-doo. Is it going to help me in game to have my supremacy from the Queen's Wrath? Hell no. I can't use that in anything except for normal PvP. Why am I holding on to it? There's really no reason, because it's not going to help me in the raid. It's not going to help me on a strike or anything like that. So I kind of hope that they clear the slate, have something new, have a lot of new armor, and not have, where I'm going to go into PvP in Destiny 2 and get shot in the face with the last word, or with Thorn, or with whatever else is out there. Have something totally fresh that we're actually working to. It's going to be sad, but at the same time, I've never in the past played a game where I'm holding on to stuff like I have in this game for these 2.5, 3 years now. Let's have something new. Let's have something refreshing, and put it in game where you're not going to say, where the hell is this stuff at? So, the same as what Gray's saying, make sure that they put it into the story. Yeah, got to cross your fingers that they're going to actually have some story and tell you, and not just have somebody walk in and boom, it's there. But yeah, that's my opinion.
I can see what your guys are saying, and you guys are making sense. I just feel like the time that I've put into the game and how hard it is to get some of this gear, like I didn't get that Mythoclast forever and ever and ever, and I had so many completions, and I finally got it, and that means something to me. I don't want it to just go away. I mean, I have deleted them in light of making more space, but that's only because I can go to the kiosk and get them again. But it's like, I just feel like that is the culmination. Like, I understand that it's about to play and have fun right now, but at the end of that fun, I got this treat. And this is the physical embodiment, the digital physical embodiment of my time that I've spent all of this led up to this point here. And that's what I'm holding on to. This is my memory. This is my connection to those times. I have year 1 weapons that I remember being on Venus and spending time out in the wild and being with this one legendary I got and having that time, Dr. Nope with Third Eye. It was an amazing feeling, and when I see that in my inventory, it means all that to me, and I have the connection to that piece of gear, and I love that piece of gear. So it's
every time you play Destiny 1, it'll be there waiting for you to look at.
I don't know. I don't think that's how that works, though.
So here's how I feel about it. And maybe this might I don't know, fill some of those holes that you would have losing those guns and stuff. Now, this is what I would want. I would want my character to persist. Like, as far as like the character I made, like I love people to have the option to make a new character or change their character or whatever. But I would like the Guardians I already created to persist if we're going to continue down that storyline. Now, as far as the weapons and armor and everything like that, do I like the things I've collected? Yes. Do I want them to persist in Destiny 2? No. Simply because they broke some of their own systems in the evolution of these guns and weapons and armor and things. And I mean, look what's going on with like the intellect discipline and raising late levels now, and like that's all kind of wonky. And I really feel like they can take what they've learned and really, really improve all that by starting it from scratch. Okay? What I would feel comfortable coming with me to help me feel like my time put in Destiny 1 was represented would be my shader collection, my emblem collection. I would like specific emblems created and awarded for accomplishments in Destiny 1, but in Destiny 2. Like, if you've achieved the Mythoclast, maybe there's a special emblem you get just because you've earned the Mythoclast, and you also, for the Necrochasm and stuff like that. If you earned those in Destiny 1, there's an actual emblem waiting for you in Destiny 2. And if you're playing Destiny 2 and you don't have that, you can go back and play Destiny 1 and get a Mythoclast, and then you'll have that emblem in Destiny 2.
I don't imagine that they're going to allow you to go back and forth like that.
But no, it's all tied to your Bungie.net account. So your Bungie.net account knows what you did in Destiny 1 and applies it to Destiny 2. So the other things I would like to see is I would like to see, for instance, you know, if Dead Orbit and Future War Call and New Monarchy are a thing, I want all of my ranks carried over. Like, I want to be rank, 45 in Dead Orbit on my Warlock when Destiny 2 starts, if that's where I am at in Destiny 1. And if there's quests that become available in Destiny 2 to people at, like, rank 10 and 25, those quests would just be there waiting for me when I started Destiny 2.
Wait, what if there is no Future War Cult or Dead Orbit?
I said, if there is, I would like those ranks carried over.
Right.
And maybe even if it's not, just show the rank that I earned in that character. I earned that rank. If that's the character persisting, I'll always be rank 45 in Dead Orbit if that's the case. So just list them all there.
A stat page. I like that.
The other thing I think Destiny could do with, and I think that it tries to go there with the Grimoire, but the Grimoire is either absurdly difficult, like getting to the lighthouse or getting 100 rumble kills, or absurdly you don't even need to pay attention to it, easy, as in get just 100 Dreg kills or something stupid like that. What I would like to see Destiny have, and this is kind of aside from this point a little bit, but I think would help in all this, is a list of challenges, a lot like Borderlands has. Like, the Grimoire just doesn't do it for me. Like I said, it's either absurdly easy or absurdly difficult, and there's not enough different things to work toward in that.
I see what you're saying. I don't know.
That goes back to that whole medal system that I've talked about before, that if you earn medals, like I participate in Iron Banner 1, I participate in Iron Banner 2, and you get a medal for that, and you can't ever go back and get the Iron Banner 1 medal if you weren't really there. And it's not anything that shows up anywhere in your character other than like a stat page like Sharks is talking about. And I think the challenges could go hand in hand with that, and then the medals could persist with your character for all of Destiny's iterations forever.
I don't know. We're running out of time.
We're running out of time. I know we have all kinds of stuff to talk about. I just want to bring up one real quick thing. This is off the topics that we've been on. And it's stuff that people are chasing in game right now. One of the things that you do for the record book is get the exotics, and there are a lot of different exotics out there, and there are actual ways to get those exotics done in game, except for one, and that one is Thorn. The Thorn is the thorn in my side, and it's in the side of many other Guardian 1 members and probably many other Guardians out there playing this game. Some of us have put lots and lots and lots of hours into this game trying to get this stupid quest, and there are lots of theories on how it drops and whatnot, and it just bugs the hell out of me that once again it is put onto RNG whether you get this Thorn bounty or not. For instance, one of the ways that you can get it by doing your Nightfalls and doing all of your bounties for the week from Shiro. I've done all my bounties all 3 weeks, and I have yet to see Thorn pop up. In fact, Jaded Guru and I were finishing out in Archon's Forge so I could get my bounties done earlier. Didn't get it, neither did he. Yet Guru, who does not play as much as I do, not even close, got the Thorn bounty. What do you guys think about this RNG crap for our exotic bounty?
I got it. I got the Thorn bounty.
Serious? Thank you.
It's how it started in Vanilla Destiny. I mean, that's how all the exotic bounties were in Vanilla Destiny. You just did bounties, and there is a slight RNG chance every time you turn in a bounty that you might get an exotic bounty.
Guys, I
But
got it.
before
You just have to
like,
lose
it-
100 Iron Banner matches in a row. If you lose 100 Iron Banner matches in a row,
Get it? You can keep Thorn. You can keep Thorn if that's what you have to do. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I think that it's cool. I think it's cool that there are still random, because I kind of really liked that in year one. I kind of really liked that just every so often here came this quest, and you could, if you already had that weapon, you could just delete it. You didn't even have to do it. I was really surprised. I got it in the first week, and I didn't complete I haven't completed all of the Shiro's bounties.
Really?
Yeah. I think that I got it on the first time I turned in one of Shiro's bounties. It popped up, and I just figured that that's how it happened. I figured that once you did this, that was what triggered it. And then I noticed a surprising lack of Thorn in the Crucible, and then you were sad that it hasn't shown up for you. So.
They're just year one, random chance to pop after every bounty, apparently.
Yeah, but it seemed like in year one that the bounties were dropping a lot faster. I mean,
I agree.
There were also, 6 of them?
Right.
Yeah, there were a lot more. That might be why it felt like they were dropping more often. But yeah, bummer. And congratulations, but bummer.
Maybe you just need to delete your existing Thorn.
Oh.
I don't have it. I deleted it before Rise Iron to make room because I figured out.
Speaking of exotics and quests and how to get things, tomorrow is the 7th. They did hide in the most recent expansions, special quests, dailies, things like that, dropping on the 7th. So tomorrow or tonight at Change, or however you want to look at it, might be a good time to watch for anything special happening.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know that anything's going to happen tomorrow because they've already used it, but I'm keeping my eyes open. And by that I mean I'm following Datto like a hawk. Each of the pieces of electronics in my house are all have notifications on. I'll walk by the microwave and it's Datto's tweeting about something because he's going to find it. If it's out there, he's going to find it.
Festival of the Lost. Is it going to launch the same day as Hard Mode Raid or the week after?
This is a great question.
I would guess the week after, because they're not going to want to compete against that. But maybe
there's going to be a lot of people not even ready to do Hard Mode Raid yet, though.
I am. Come on.
Why aren't you guys? I'm saying there's a lot of people who aren't going to be, though.
Sharks, you're going to race this time?
You'll do hard mode for 2 hours, and then you'll go into that and do the Festival of the Lost for 25 minutes.
When did it launch last year?
2 hours? 2 hours? You're not on my team. 2 hours.
2 hours is.
But you did math class, dude.
Right.
No.
When did Festival of the Lost launch last year?
I don't remember.
I think it was around this time.
I think that it was around for a while, right? It was around for
October 26th, maybe?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks, wasn't it? It was a week before, a week after.
No, it ended November 10th.
Oh, yeah. So October 26th to November 10th. It's probably going to drop on the 25th then. Yeah.
I would go along with that. Moving on.
Well, that's about all I got. They say they'll keep us posted on the dates for the upcoming races and the Festival of the Lost. There's one other thing I didn't mention. There is the Bungie bounty coming up. This time it's going to be Supremacy, obviously. It's going to be Wednesday, October 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific. And thanks to private matches, they'll be pulling the combatants from the actual chat there.
Oh, I wanted to say also that you can get the chaperone in private matches. There's a video up where you and one other person enter Rumble, and then you kill that other person 4 times and have them go to orbit, and then you will have 4% added onto your chaperone. So if you know somebody who doesn't give a crap about their KD, you can get that chaperone this way.
I want to say
Sharks.
it's slower.
You want to say what's slower?
The progress on your chaperone bounty.
Nope.
It seemed like it was going slower than when I did it.
Get that gun right before you win your match in a regular match and get the same percent.
Yeah, I haven't been winning very much, Agrios. Sharks?
Hey, so I have to say this to all our viewers before we get to shoutouts, and this is actually thanks to, it's thanks to a Messashon tweet, but it wasn't Messashon that figured this out. But it does work. If you want to go into Archon's Forge and you don't want to be by yourself, walk into them. Walk in very, very slowly. I did it 6 times today, 6 different times, and every single time I was put in with other people. All right. So just before you go, before you start walking up the stairs, it only has to be one person, but I mean, we were doing it with the fire team too. Start your slow walk. It's the Deej slow walk. If you're curious which slow walk you're talking about, and slow walk all the way up the stairs. And as you go in, it will match make you with blueberries, and you can kick butt in Archon's Forge, because I know that's one of the reasons people were not going into Archon's Forge, because there weren't enough people. It's a little bit different now because everybody's higher light, but it's still nice to run with multiple people, especially if you're doing the purple ones. So try that out.
Got it. Okay, so is that it? Nothing else from nobody? Great.
That is it.
Why don't we get to some shout-outs, starting with Gray.
So as the lonely Xbox Guardian on this panel, I've been really encouraged to see Guardian 1 grow on the Xbox One side. We've added a few Guardian 1 members, but recently I've been able to play with a long-standing Guardian 1 member, Mr. Stay Puff. And the more that I play with this guy, the more that I realize how incredible he is. A very solid player, very helpful, friendly. If you ever need someone to help you out with a challenge that you're going through in game, he is a good, solid Guardian 1 member, and I've appreciated the time that we've been able to play with each other. He's now one of our core raid group members, so it's been really good. My shout out goes to him.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize how helpful he was because I spend a good portion of my time on the PlayStation. But when we ran the raid with him just this last week, it was amazing how patient and helpful he was. Like it was really cool. That's a really nice shout out. Sharks.
My shout out goes to Jaded. Jaded across the pond was able to get me some cool swag that they are not giving out here in the States, but they were giving out in England. So shout out to him, because I want all the swag I can get from Bungie and Destiny. So thank you.
Excellent. Agrios.
My shout out goes to Hurricane Matthew. Go the other way.
That's funny. Jez.
For the 3rd week in a row, Lady Efrideet, and now you guys know why.
Do we though, Jez?
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, just listen to all our quotes, or read them.
Well, all right then.
Not the character animation, it's the quotes.
Yeah. She has an interesting point of view. Better than most of the characters.
I definitely want to know more about her. I definitely want to know more about these Guardians in the outer system. We need to go there. Maybe they got some good stuff. Maybe they could help us, kick us down some equipment. My shout out this week goes to my dog Noodle. She hit 10 years old this year, and I'm not stupid. I know she's not going to live forever, but she was the being that helped my transformation into a parent. I know that dogs and cats aren't really our children, but she was the reason I ended up settling down and not going on some kind of crazy vacations, like having to feed and water her and walk her all the time. Like she really helped me become a good parent to my actual children. And there's a movie coming out about this dog and its many lifetimes. And I hope that if there is multiple lifetimes for my dog, that she comes and finds me when I'm an old man, because I love her very much. Noodle, this shout out is for you. And that wraps up episode 103. I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or suggestions for topics to be discussed on the show, please leave them in the comments below or send them to feedback@guardian1.net. And we will see you next week.